In this video, I will show you how I change my engine mounts. Hello YouTube and welcome back to another video. In this video I will show you how I change my engine mounts. Why am I changing my engine mounts? Well, when taking some bends sometimes I could feel rubbing through the steering wheel. Also when Fern had her most recent MOT it was mentioned that the engine mounts could do with changing, so here we are. It was very hard to show on camera how close the auxiliary belt is to the steering column here, but it isn't touching, but it is very close. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do this myself, but after talking to a few people it sounded easy enough. Here are the engine mounts. You can buy them from Redline, Caterham and probably other places. I like to support Redline where I can, as it's good to support small businesses where possible. And remember, use them or potentially lose them. First off, I'm not a mechanic by any means, I'm a hobbyist learning as I go. Maybe there are things I could have done better, so have a look in the comments section below before doing this job yourself. Every day is a school day. I put the jack underneath the sump to take the weight of the engine. Ideally, I would have put some wood here to spread the load, but there wasn't much of a gap. There is a big bolt in the middle which holds the engine onto these mounts, and two smaller bolts that hold the engine mount in place, and the nuts are underneath here. I used a 13mm socket and spanner to take these nuts off. I left the bolts in as I thought that would keep the mount in place while undoing the big bolt. Before I did this, if I'm honest, I had a few cups of tea thinking about what my plan should be. I was a little worried that I could take an engine mount off and then might struggle to get it back on. There are two sides to do and the driver's side was a lot more accessible than the other side. Plus the driver's side would potentially make the most difference, so I started there. I used an extension bar connected to a breaker bar for leverage and a H9 Allen key or hex key socket for the big bolt. After loosening the bolt, I just used the extension by hand to undo it. I then realised that the engine needed to go up a little bit as the mount wasn't moving at all. After raising the jack a little bit, I could then take the bolts out and replace the engine mount. As you can see, the old engine mount looks a little bit more compressed compared to the new mount. This was also the same for both sides. I then did the reverse to put everything back. I put the smaller bolts with the washers and nuts back, and then the bigger bolt. I couldn't find any torque settings online for the smaller bolts, so if you do know the torque settings then please let me know in the comments section below. I believe the torque settings for the big bolt is 34 foot-pounds, which is about 46 Newton meters. Please check the comment section below and please check yourself before doing this, as like I've already said, I'm not a mechanic, I'm just a hobbyist. That was a lot easier than I thought, and then I did the other side. I'm not sure if it was on purpose or a happy accident, but the extension bar just fits in the space here. I did the same as the other side, but the access was a lot less and it was also quite hard to film. It was very hard to film, but the gap between the steering column and the auxiliary belt is slightly more now, but not by as much as what I thought it would be. Since doing this, I've not noticed any rubbing through the steering wheel, which has got to be a good thing though. I could do with having a look at some other S3 Sigmas to see what their gap is compared to mine. And what else could I do? I've already changed the auxiliary belt last winter to the same size as what was on there. Maybe this could be changed for a slightly smaller one, or I might see if I can change where the steering column is mounted slightly. I think we're only talking kind of millimeters here would make a massive difference. These are just ideas which I will look into more, but if you've got any ideas, please let me know in the comment section below. Please like this video if it has been helpful, and also subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget, every stone chip tells a story, and I'll see you in the next one.
as you fade away, as you fade away.